NIO CEO has confirmed to everybody that batteries are the limiting factor right now, the bottleneck, as you call it, for more production, more deliveries of the ES8. When we know that ES8 has a ton of demand, everybody's buying the ES8. People aren't really buying the other cars. They all want the ES8 because of the tech and everything. But the bottleneck is the battery. One extra battery that CATL can provide for NIO is one extra car that they can produce. Nothing else limits how many cars that they can deliver except battery. And NIO is actually quite lucky in the aspect that when they talk to CATL for batteries at the start of every year and stuff like that, of course they want extra batteries for battery swap stations. And then because of the fact that there's so much demand, what they can do is they can take some of that excess extra batteries that are supposed to go to swap stations and divert that to ES8, which is really, really nice. And that's exactly what they're doing. But that's still not enough to capture the ES8 demand. And in this aspect, some of the competitors aren't so lucky because like Li Auto i6, they actually have to resort to using a different battery supplier. And that is just definitely not good on the consumer side. So NIO is very lucky. Have a listen to what the CEO said.
For the 102 electronic resources, we'll need everyone to wait a bit longer. What's the current situation? Right now, one of the main bottlenecks in our ES8 delivery is the battery supply. The number of batteries we can produce determines how many vehicles we can deliver. This affects our delivery speed as well. I didn't expect the ES8 to be so popular this year. So initially we were conservative with the orders we placed with battery manufacturers. For deliveries now, we're definitely prioritizing customer vehicles. For each vehicle delivered this year, our company can save some money. Because if we deliver next year, don't we have to cover the purchase tax for customers? That's the purchase tax refund issue. So this year we've offered customers some loyalty points as a gesture. We've also provided some other incentives.
Very important that they get as many cars as they can out this year for the ES8 and instead of next year, because they got to subsidize for the tax increase. That's actually no joke, the amount of money that they have to subsidize. That's like 5%. All right, the 5% purchase tax increase. NIO has to pay that 5%. Yeah, so in that aspect, oh man, you better hope that they're getting extra batteries from CATL. Hopefully they're like maybe taking some batteries from the swap station and then putting that on the new cars. But I guess that wouldn't really be that nice, because if you're a new NIO buyer and then you get a car that's has a battery that's not new and it comes from the swap station, that could be of concern. But that is something that they could, attempt to do. But it really shows that for the ES8, there's strong demand. All right, and then they can't even keep up with demand. But however, the other cars, not so much demand. So I'm wondering if NIO can somehow, for the production of the batteries for the other 400-volt vehicles, change that to the 900-volt battery for the ES8, and then be able to pump out more cars, because that's exactly what we want. And it seems like right now they're still in the process of ramping up production for the ES8, and nothing else is the limiting factor. Like, not the parts or the wheels or anything else like that. It's just the battery. So pray to God, hope that CATL can build more of those batteries and sell it to NIO ASAP so NIO can deliver the cars. Now, NIO has also announced that they are going to double the batteries for on-volt batteries inside the swap stations. And this is, of course, another effort to really boost consumer satisfaction with the on-volt user base, and of course to really promote on-volt as well in that sense. There's more swappable batteries in the swap stations. That's going to really make life a lot easier for on-volt owners. So of course that's really, really nice. And they promise that they're going to increase like 8,000, add like up to 8,000 extra batteries into the swap stations as early as January. Yeah, That's pretty amazing. Also, some very important battery swap station news. You would think that going into next year, they're gonna stop building 4th gen swap stations and just do 5th gen swap stations, because that's the one that supports Firefly cars, and that's the one that you want to have the most out of all the swap stations, because it actually supports all the NIO vehicles. Whereas right now, Firefly cars can't swap at any of the swap stations. But according to NIO, there's still a lot of inventory for the 4th gen swap station. So even going to next year in Q1, they're still going to be deploying a lot of 4th gen swap stations along with 5th gen swap stations. And of course, once the inventory is depleted for the 4th gen swap stations, then it's going to be just all 5th gen swap stations from then on, which is also very nice. But in terms of this bottleneck situation, it doesn't seem like it's going to be resolved anytime soon. And this 102 kilowatt hour battery pack, this is the flagship battery. This is the battery that they will use for all future NIO vehicles in the 900 volt platform and beyond. So I think it would be the right move for them to secure bigger production and high production numbers from CATL, and because the future ES7 is going to use that. In 2 years' time, when it comes to 2027, the new ES6, the new ET5, ET5T, they will all use this new battery. And you better make sure that you have a lot of these batteries, not just for the cars, but also for the swap stations as well. So I hope they were able to secure more production for that. But it seems like right now that is the limiting factor that's stopping NIO from just absolute blasting off with new cars, with more cars being delivered for the ES8. So it seems like what this implies is that the ramp up is complete. All right, the ramp up for everything else is complete, meaning they can manufacture a lot of cars, but without the battery, basically. They can manufacture more ES8, but without the battery. That means the raw materials and other things for the car has been ramped up. So that is good news. That is good news. The other thing you guys have to take note, a lot of people still waiting for the ES8. They still want to get their car ASAP. So yeah, I think it's possible for them to do something like what Tesla did, perhaps, to take delivery of the car before the car is even fully ready, and then pay the purchase tax. That's the purchase tax this year instead of the purchase tax next year. But it's harder to do here in China, because when you pay the purchase tax, you have to have your actual car with you. So yeah, we'll have to see if they're able to do something like that, and perhaps mitigate the impact of the tax increase. Yeah, but it is very imperative that they deliver as many cars as they can in this year, and not in the next year. Well, move the deliveries in early January into December to save them on a lot of money that they would have to waste subsidizing for the tax increase, which is just crazy, right? But demand is all the way through April, so there's no way that you're gonna fulfill all those orders. And demand, I mean specifically for the ES8. Okay, let's make it clear. The other vehicles, they don't have that much demand. So, man, yeah, this is a tough situation. But NIO will eventually have to subsidize for the cars that they do deliver next year. Yeah, which kind of sucks. But it is what it is. They promised it. Otherwise, they're going to lose those customers they would buy something else. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Yeah. Let me know what you guys think about this whole entire bottleneck battery situation in the comments down below. As always, stay safe, stay healthy. Peace out.